Hi, good day. Welcome to another health series. I'm Keisha from Care Nursing Agency, and today our topic is professionalism. I think it's a very important topic, and here with me to address this topic is Miss Nurse Anthony. The dictionary defines professionalism as the conduct or aims or qualities that characterize or mark a profession or professional person, and it defines a profession example, a calling requiring specialized knowledge and too often intensive academic preparation. Professionalism also includes a variety of personal qualities, and behaviors that demonstrate commitment to effective performance in a given job. Commitment and confidence, responsibility and dependability, honesty and ethics, and appearance and professional presence are some of the central professional characteristics. And it also fosters a respectful culture, and professional behavior also helps with different perspectives as well as different cultures or background. So I am very excited about this topic today because I think it's timely in our era, because we are nurses and we want to aim higher and we want to do better. And I think to do better, we have to go back sometimes to the drawing board or to old school. So Miss Anthony, thank you for answering my call to come and address this very important topic, because I think that sometimes we forget that sometimes going back is not a way of going back, but it's a way of reflecting on what we should be reflecting on, positivity. And I think that is lacking in a lot of business places, not just in nursing, but in businesses across the board in St. Kitts. And sometimes highlighting our difficulties and our challenges helps to make the public and the TV persons out there to realize that yes, we want better for our nation, and to do that we have to come from a professional aspect.
That is
and
true.
Thank you for coming and answering. So can you
Before I go into the discussion, I want to thank you for extending the invitation. And just to let you know, I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited for Care Nursing Agency and what you guys are doing, not just with the practical portion of things, but also meeting the needs of nurses and individuals in the community by sharing this platform with them. So kudos to you, Keisha, and
thank you.
Well done. Like you said, you gave a very ample definition of professionalism, and it's not unique to nursing. Professionalism is just about any vocation that's out there that's supported by a body of knowledge that has regulations to guide practice. But what for us, nursing is our thing. It's what we do, it's what we live for. And so today I really want to focus on professionalism in nursing, because if anything that 2020 has taught us in the year of the nurse is just how important a role we play in not only administering care, but also directing healthcare for a community, for a nation. Now, usually when people hear the word nurse, they think of someone who is kind and compassionate and patient. And yes, those are important, but that's not the limit of our profession. That's not the limit of our professionalism. These are essential characteristics and form a part. The knowledge that we gain from our 4 years now in our degree program, it provides the background from which we work. It provides the basics, the standards, the rules to guide our practice. And so that's important as a part of professionalism. We see our nurses donned in their beautiful uniforms and hair up off the shoulders. All those play a role in our professionalism, because you talked about behavior and dress in your definition, and that is so true. Speaking politely, but again, it doesn't stop there. We reflect on these things and we say, yes, she's a good nurse because she looks good in her uniform or she speaks well. But if that's our only measurement for professionalism in nursing, then we're severely lacking. Severely lacking. So as nurses, professionalism in nursing means much more. It means that we have to encompass those values that are critical to evaluating the quality of patient care, while improving the methods to which we administer these care, the standards that guide our practice, and the judgment that guides our nursing that we use every day. Sure, our patient presents with diagnoses from the physician, but we still have to use our judgment to determine what need is most important for this individual now.
Right.
Yes, you have diabetes. You're here for uncontrolled diabetes, but is it because you're not eating well? Is it because you're not knowledgeable about your condition? You're not compliant with your medication? Why you're back in hospital? As nurses, we're the ones who identify those needs in the client, and we use our judgment to guide our actions in the care that we do for them. So in a broad view of things, that's what our professionalism is, right? Our standards, our practice, our judgment that we encompass every day.
Okay.
Some people say, how can I be a professional nurse? What are the ways that we demonstrate? We want to take it away from the look and more to the practice, because that's what our patients and their family and the community experience, the practice, the interaction with the nurse. And so there are some guidelines that are out there, and one of them is, we teach it all the time, put the patients first. Put your clients first. We are trying to move away from the term patient to clients, because what we offer is a service.
Right.
And offering a service in other countries, it's a service that's in exchange for cash. You must pay for this service. So we're moving away from patients and more to clients. And it's important to uphold the rights of the client. Now, a lot of time in our territory, in our parts of the world, patients come in, clients come in, and it's do what the doctor says, do what the nurses says, not knowing that they have rights. And while we are practicing in the best intention of the individual, we must also remember that they have rights. But we need to treat them with kindness, respect, and compassion. We should not be seeing ourselves above these individuals. Sure, you have your BSN and you have your MSN and all sorts of Ns, but we should treat each individual as what they are, an individual, a human being with human rights. And that's very important when we're putting our clients first. We should take the course of view that we need active listening. We should listen to our clients, not rush the history taking from them, not rush our assessment with them. Listen to what they're saying and to what they're not saying. If you have me as a patient, I can tell you I won't be saying a lot of things that I need to say. One, because you might just not be comfortable relaying your personal information to a vertical stranger.
Right.
This person is a stranger. And so when we're putting our clients first, we must present an air of, I'm here for you. I am with you, and I have some understanding with what you're going through, and I'm empathizing with you. So a friendly deportment, but not a chummy deportment, is very important. There is a professional line of demarcation. I'm your nurse, I'm your confidant, but we ain't two. Even if I know you, once you're in my care, it becomes a different department that I approach you with. But I'm still putting you first and putting your best interest at heart and advocating for your needs. Now, advocating in a Caribbean context it's not new territory for nurses, but it's uncomfortable territory.
Why would you say that though?
How many nurses actually stand up to a physician and say, sir, while I respect where you are going with this, that's not the best plan of care for this individual?
Yes, I understand that. It's a challenge, and even when we do take a stand, sometimes we don't do it the professional way.
Professional way. And that takes me, actually, that's my next point, communicating effectively. But before we move on to that, advocating is a key role in professionalism of putting patients first. We are the ones who spend most times with the patients. We have an 8 to 10 hour shift. In some countries, it's 12 hours. And we are the ones who are spot on, hands on in the care for these individuals. We know what they like. We know what they don't like. We know what's happening with the family. We know that it's not safe to send this patient back home to this family. So sometimes we have to stand up Not being disrespectful, but standing in the best interest of our clients, making sure that they have all the relevant information, all the relevant resources that are available to them have been utilized to maximize the outcome, the positive outcome that we want for these individuals. So we have to get out of that uncomfortable zone and learn to speak up and speak out for our clients. And so that takes me to communicating effectively. Now, this is not about speaking politely. This is not about mastering the Queen's English. No, it goes beyond that. We have to be able to speak to patients on a level that they can understand. Not that we're talking down to them, but we're not using medical jargons anymore. We're not using terminologies that's above them. We have to be able to relate so that they can understand. Not just the patients, but also their caregivers. Because at the end of the day, when they leave us, they're going home to their caregivers. They need to understand what's going on. They need to understand who I should reach out to when something doesn't seem right. What does it mean when something doesn't seem right? What is right from what doesn't seem right kind of situation. So we have to be very transparent, very clear with what we're telling these clients and their families. This awesome body that we have, it speaks a lot. Now, I wear glasses to hide my facial expression. My mom always tells me I can look at your face and know exactly what you're thinking. I cannot hide my face. Everything is on my face. When I teach the students, look at my face for clues if they're answering the question correctly, because they have learned me and my body language so well. So we tell a story with our body that we don't tell with our mouth. And as nurses, we have to learn to be able to put a smile on our face, even when we can be harsh in a very gentle way sometimes. And so we have to learn to use our body to communicate well with those around us, our colleagues, our seniors, our subordinates, our patients, those who are working in the team with us. We have to be able to communicate with everyone well.
And it's interesting you say that, because people do pick up on nonverbals. They do pick up when what you're saying doesn't match with how you're looking.
Exactly.
And we get that. They'll ask you, nurse, you upset with me now? But you didn't say anything upsetting, but just your nonverbals, body language would tell them that you're not pleased with the situation or whatever it is. So we have to be careful.
We really do have to be careful. And it sets the pace. It sets the pace for the relationship that we're establishing with our clients. You can't be telling them one thing and then your body is reacting a different way. It's basically saying, can I really trust this individual? You're faking it. That's like the word for 2020. You're faking it kind of situation, right? But yeah. And also in our communication, we are record keepers. I think we are some of the best record keepers out there. Everything that is said and done to the patient and for the patient should be documented. And so our writing skills, not just those nice curvaceous writing that they teach you in penmanship class now, but our use of English and writing clearly. So if I'm going to court, one of the things that we tell the students is when you're documenting, think about it. If you go to court, does this translate clearly what was done, not the intent, but what was done to the individual? Objective documentation when it is needed, subjective when it is needed. But as nurses, we practice our objective documentation. Don't be afraid to write it down.
If it happens.
Because
if we don't write, if we don't document, it never happens.
It never happened. Not documented, not done.
Right. Well, I'm a nurse and I have challenges, of course, and I think we all do, but handling it the best possible way is very hard. And I think the communication, as you said, is a key point, being an advocate. I think too, part of it involves who you are as a person individually. And I think that plays our cultural background, plays a role in how our department and how we are perceived professionally by the public or even our clients. And I think, yes, we can change personalities, we could adjust, and of course, according to the situation that is in front of you. But I think it's challenging depending on the atmosphere or environment that you were raised. And though you may become a nurse later on in life, how can that affect your professionalism as an individual who has a cultural background of I wouldn't say what, because I don't want to be biased. So let's just say you have a cultural background that not so much speaks to professionalism. It's a new era for you in the nursing field, and you're new to everything, and you're really shocked at some of the things you're learning because you didn't think nursing entails all of that. And now you're in this profession that, though you might love it, you're in a, should I say, because it's like, I can't be me anymore because I have to put up this front for the public, because they can't accept that I am a, what you call it, reveler, those that go to the band and dance, and they can't accept that I'm loud, they can't accept that I like short clothes, they can't accept that I like my nails done. I can't do a lot of things anymore. What would you say in a situation?
So
does it affect professionalism at all?
It does. Who you are, because there's a theory that 80% of who you are as an individual is the nurturing that you had growing up, and that helps to cement your personality. 20% is just your natural nature. So when it comes to nursing and professionalism, not coming from a well-to-do home, for example, not coming from a home that says, stay in the corner, you're a girl, read the book, that could be challenging for an individual who comes into nursing. But one of the good things is that nursing has its own culture. And from the moment you enter nursing school, that cultural sensitization begins. You are adopted into a program that sees this as lifelong learning. And so there are principles, there are standards that are taught to you as a student nurse. And even when you go into clinical practice as a student nurse, you're expected to dress a certain way, speak a certain way, eat a certain way, follow the instructions well. These guidelines are taught to you in nursing school. So by the time you're finished that 4 years in nursing school, when you have to transition into the registered nurse role, it's a little bit easier for this individual. It does not change who you are wanting to go revel. It doesn't affect who you are as a professional. However, there is a clause in the international standards that says, as the nurse, the community must have confidence in you.
Right.
So whether you're in uniform or not, and especially in St. Kitts, where it's a really small community, everybody knows that you're a nurse.
Everybody don't call you by your name anymore.
No, you have no name. You have no name. You are just nurse. You are not Keisha, and you're not Keisha.
I don't even remember what my name is because it's nurse.
And we have to now portray the nurse every time.
I think it's very hard, though.
It is hard, but
it might not be hard for me.
Because you and I are from a generation where it's okay. We are more feminine and more cultured, and etiquette that comes with it. We love that.
The nurses who are younger, the newer,
a new generation,
nurses, I think it affects them greatly.
It affects them because it's hard for them to adopt into this. And one of the things with nursing that I might get some hitbacks on for saying this is that our culture doesn't change with the social cultural changes that's occurring around us. For example, tattoos. Like, I'm averse to tattoos. I don't like it. I think have my nice sexual chocolate skin enough to go than painting it. But to the younger generation, it's a fashion statement. It's an expression of who they are as individuals. Now, our profession does not and will not tolerate a nurse having a tattoo in an area that can be visualized by individuals easily. So no neck, no hands. They don't even want it on the feet.
Is that fair?
And that's a good question.
Because it's a lot of ethical situations with this professionalism, because even out here, or color. Let's use color.
Color.
Let's don't use length.
Let's not use length.
Because we know in St. Kitts, for us, we cannot have it on our shoulders. So this is a treat right here. Because I'm not in uniform.
I'm going to tell you, it's not unique to St. Kitts either.
No?
No. Because I'm from Jamaica. I studied in Jamaica. We could not have our hair on our shoulders.
Okay. So it's a Caribbean thing then.
It's a nursing thing. In the US, most of them have long hair naturally. But when they get to work, they have to band it up.
Oh.
They don't wear the caps, but they have to band that hair up. It's because we know microorganisms can get from our hair into sterile fields, which we don't want. And I personally don't want a nurse over me and her hair is brushing on my skin and on my face. Absolutely not.
So then the length, we won't go there with the length.
We won't go there. But
the color, should it be a factor at this point?
Personally, and being that I'm an individual that understands the concept of transcultural nursing and not just looking at individuals from different culture, but also looking at social cultural changes, I really don't have no issue with it personally.
But it's an issue though.
But it's an issue, and
because we have colors that we never see in this lifetime. Purple. We have colors,
yellow.
Have
fabulous colors out there that individuals are wearing. And then I think about when I was younger, you look at the banking profession, persons in the banking industry. Those were persons who were held in high regards where I'm from. But now I look at them, boys had to have their hair really low, and they had to shave regular, nice and neat, coming to work, tie and all. No, that's not so. They can grow their hair, they can have their mustache and their beard, and that's fine. Yes, the girls are still expected to be in their makeup and their heels and all of that. But there is a change in the trend, and the leaders in this profession recognize that social, cultural issues will affect the profession. But if you can navigate it in a way to still get the best out of these individuals. If I have red in my hair, how is that making me an unprofessional nurse? My focus is my practice. Primarily, it's not taking away from the body of knowledge. It's not taking away from the ethics and the regulations.
Not even makeup at this point is a problem, because I would say a problem for people who don't accept that beauty is how the person perceives it to be. For me, it just has to be a little eye pencil and a lip gloss. For others, it's full-blown makeup, but they're on duty.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect anything at all. And in fact, I am a client, I'm a patient. I think I will be like feeling much better when I see a nurse all looking all nice and fine versus a nurse who look tired and weary. But
okay.
It's an individual thing, I think, but even that is a problem for some people in the public.
But think about it, there's a flip side to that. The nurse is well adorned in her makeup, and for makeup, I'm going full out. You put on the makeup, you look like somebody completely different makeup, right? And our environment is not the coolest.
No.
We sweat a lot. Like I worked at Jenny for about 5 months, and I wore that uniform, and it was the most uncomfortable nursing uniform I wore in my entire life. And it's hot, and the wards are hot. Now imagine me with that dripping that makeup. That can't be comfortable for the individual nor for the patient that you're caring for. So it has its place and its time. Nothing is wrong in making yourself feel as beautiful as you think you are, and whatever accessories is necessary for that. But moderation is always the key in whatever you do. Moderation is the key. So when it comes to makeup and the color of the hair, I don't see it taking away from the profession. There are some standards that we hold true to. Closed-toe shoes, uniforms, if you're wearing the dresses that come down over your knee because, bending and stooping. If you're wearing pants, they should not be confining and skin tight because, again, bending and stooping and male patients and the problems that they can have with that kind of situation. You're talking about nails and
our nails should be short.
Your nails should be short.
Color.
This is a touch profession. You don't want to be scratching your patient's skin. No color, no polish, no acrylic, because then microbes can grow underneath those fake nails and those acrylic solutions. So there are tenets in our profession that we have scientific support while we engage our nurses to practice these things. Not that we want to stop you from being all fancy and dandy. You know, you can do that on the weekend on your days off and come back to work your next couple of days on being who you are. So yeah, that's that part of it.
Okay. Well, apart from appearance, I mentioned personality. Some people are loud, some people are a bit boisterous, some are hasty, some are too timid, some are too quiet.
Oh, yeah.
We have a whole array of personalities out there, and they're either coming into the field or they're already in the field.
Yeah.
And how do you address, well, both spectrum, those who are loud and aggressive, and those who are very timid and shy? Because for the general public or for the clients that we are caring for, who we are offering a service to, their perception affects even the care, because they probably would have their own views on the matter or on you as you are the caregiver for them for this period or this shift, and how they see you matter. They'll compare you to a next nurse, even though the care is brilliant. What do you say for something like that, a situation like that?
So this is where collaboration and mentorship in professionalism comes into play. Like, I work part-time at the School of Nursing here in St. Kitts, and I know my students very well. I know those who are shy and those who are assertive. I don't want to call them aggressive, I call them assertive, because it's a passion sometimes that drives people to be that force, a force of nature to be reckoned with. And it's when you mentor these individuals, it's helping them to channel their energies. So people might not believe it, but yes, I am loud and boisterous. I am.
I am too. Very much so.
I grew up in rural Jamaica. I had 5 older brothers. I'm the youngest of my mom's kids, and I don't know anything about being a girl. Back then I was always with the boys on the road, making noise, playing football, that kind of thing. I was loud and boisterous. And it took nursing school to kind of confine that.
Well, I don't think I'm confined. I am thinking here seriously that it being myself helped me to get to where I am today.
And it does.
I don't want to be quiet about things that I'm, as you said, that word passion, it's a part of my daily life. I am passionate about plenty of things, and when something is a bother, I make it known. I don't sit back and wait for you to decide it's bothering me. It's bothering me.
And that's perfectly fine. The individual who doesn't know how to channel their passion to express themselves, those are the ones that people find problematic. And so mentorship in nursing at the student level and at the registered nurses level is important. But we have a challenge in the Caribbean. One, our nursing profession has been raped by first world countries. Our expert nurses have taken the opportunity for greener pastures, and nobody could fault them. They're entitled to that. So you find that we have this deficit where our more senior nurses or more experienced nurses who should be guiding the younger nurses into the profession, they're not there anymore.
Or they're retired.
Or they're retired because of whatever reason, because I don't see somebody at 55 retiring. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
It's happened even before that.
It just doesn't
Nurses
make sense.
are at this point retiring in their 40s. You never heard of that before, but it's happening.
We need to stop that bleed. Like, right now, the powers that be need to look into this situation and stop, because the health of the nation is at risk. Yeah. Sure, we may be graduating degree nurses, but they are still in a transitional period. They need that guidance and mentorship, not only to inculcate them in the nursing culture, but also in the culture of care and in the professional practice in the work environment. So mentorship is key to helping individuals hone and develop those skills that they have, those personal challenges that they have as well. When I went to the University of the West Indies, we were challenged to do public speaking. I hate public speaking. I sweat ridiculously. I'm nervous. Sometimes I stutter, and I never stuttered before. And I had this one professor who said, you have to learn to deal with that, because as a nurse, you will be and you can be called upon at any time to speak. because you're an expert in a particular field. Think of your audience. What makes you relax? What makes you smile? And I'm ashamed to say this, I think of people naked. I think of people naked and it relaxes me, like, oh my God, it would be so funny to see that person naked. And I'm calm and I feel like I have a little bit of power over the situation and the person sitting in my audience. And so I'm completely relaxed and able to deal with it and take my focus off my shyness or my timidity. I'm here
wondering how I look naked to you. I hope I'm looking good.
But whatever works, individuals, you have a personal responsibility. It's not like we're clueless about the things that we find as shortcomings or the things that we find as challenges. We're not clueless. The individual who has no insight into themselves has a mental health issue and needs to get that addressed. But
because you would think at this age we are supposed to be at least mature enough,
or some aspect of yourself. And
but believe you me, people are still trying to find themselves, you know, even after being a successful nurse, even after having a family. Some people are still trying to find who they are. And at 40, 50, I think it's happening.
It is.
So,
because the way society has structured us, you enter primary school, you enter high school, you must go to college to get something, or you must find a vocation. There is, you know, when you think of other countries, individuals take like a year off to whether tour the world, go visit somewhere that's on their future bucket list or something. Some people actually take a break to really evaluate, what am I really passionate about? You see people at 45 switching professions.
Yeah, because some nurses, they will tell you, I came into this thing and when I see what it entails, I no longer
it's just not for me.
But they are stuck because they already know what they're doing, so they just say, okay, let me just stay on. Not that they want to be there, they want to move on, but how?
And some of us really don't have the luxury to explore until we would have invested maybe 20 years of our lives, get some financial security to be able to move on to the next phase. I grew up in poverty, so I know what that is like. I didn't choose nursing. Like, I went into nursing because my brother died and I felt like he died at the hands of those who were charged to care for him. And I had the subjects. I knew I wanted to do something in the science area. I just didn't know. And at that time, I was about 20 years old, 21. So, but after getting into the profession, I've always had a passion for people. And now add that to my science background, it just brought things into focus. So I didn't really choose nursing as hey, I'm passionate about this, I'm going to get in this profession and be the best there is.
Well, I think it chose me because I started because of my grandma, and she needed help and nobody was willing in the house. She had an ulcer and I was the only one willing. I could have braved any scent even back then. I was young, and I think seeing her in pain made me forget that, you know, let me help. And it benefited me because I went to work at City Drug Store where all the gauze on the wall and the peroxide was, so I could have brought them home more easily and readily for her. But all in all, is like, my concern is in the profession is that we as nurses are labeled by the public, by each other, sad to say. And I think there are two professionals here, and we look at this one and we look at this one, and they are so different. And for me, different is okay.
That's fine.
But some people, you have to be this one to be labeled a professional. Because I remember in my nursing journey, and I say journey because it was, and it is, I was told that I was salt and this nurse was sugar. And I was so offended. I didn't even know the depths of that, what it really meant.
Oh my God.
Eventually, I realized it meant that, you know, for sweets, sugar is sweet. So that means I am the very opposite of this. That means I'm no good. It could mean a lot of things, but I took it at that time to mean that I was no good as a nurse. And then I started comparing myself to not just the person who was sugar, but others. And then when I realized I was doing that, I had to stop. Something made me stop. Some incident happened and I said, no. I stopped because I realized we do need salt.
You do.
And if we don't have that balance between both electrolytes, we were gonna die. And as a nurse, I use my intellectual capabilities to look at the situation and realize that I was so grateful that this person realized that I contributed, because being salt made me who I am today. I don't mind that I wasn't sugar, because you need that salt.
You do.
Because no food tastes good without a little salt there to season it. So, you know, and I had to put it that way to get a sense of relief and to know that it's okay to be me. And from that day, I realized it was okay to be me. I never looked back, because sugar and salt have to come together.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized we need people to come together. I use that very example to guide some of how I see things. Together means I need you and you need me, and we need each other. When we are working on the shift, we need each other. We can't care for you effectively as a client if we don't have a team approach. Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even understand what team approach is. And that little scenario was simple, yet so profound for me that I always tell my nurses, I'm an advocate for the nurse, by the way. I'm very happy about that. And you can't do anything to a nurse, and I know, because I'm coming for you. And I'm going to have a say on it. Yes, I would fast myself up in people business if I need to address a situation. But that's because there are many people who are labeled salt. And I see it for myself. They don't say it. They might give the example like I was told back then. But I see they put them in a category and they put them aside and they say they are not a professional. When they are more professional than who is labeled sugar. They have more compassion and warmth and gratitude and the gentle touch and the empathy and the qualities that we know from way back when that grounded the nurses as we were risen in St. Kitts. So why is it that you're putting these in a label that they are not a professional? Because they have a voice?
You know, this is an ugly thing to say, but it's a reality. There's always the concept across the world, anywhere you go in nursing, there is a theory that in nursing we eat our young.
Yes, yes.
And unfortunately, that has not changed in over the hundreds of years that nursing has been established. There is this threat, which is an unnecessary feeling, by the way, that these young people are coming into the profession and they are going to want to change the way thing is done.
But change is good.
Change can be good.
It has its place.
And you would imagine that with every generation, the thought process has evolved. Look at technology and this young generation now. My daughter, who made 13 today, happy birthday, Dejane. She can do stuff with her phone and her tablet that even a little techie like me never knew existed on the phone. So we have to learn to appreciate what they bring with them into the profession and be able to channel that into the best way possible. And you spoke about being a salt and having that negative first impression and then turning that around. Yes. That's also a feature of professionalism in nursing, being able to stay positive, being able to display a positive attitude.
But it's a daily fight, you know. Because positivity don't just show up and say, hey.
You didn't wake up with it. I know for sure I don't wake up with it in the mornings.
I have to will it.
It's a struggle.
Yes.
It's a struggle. And it's not just about us. Our patients too, they struggle to remain positive. When they get these diagnoses, these terminal diagnoses, it's hard for them to see tomorrow. But they look to us. They look to us to be the calm in the storm.
Yes.
And so we have to learn as nurses to compartmentalize. Like when I go to work in the morning, it's not because I'm so happy to go to work. I hate mornings. I wish mornings started at 10 a.m. I'm my best self at that time. But I have to take that aside, and 7:30 when I open the office doors, I paste this fake smile. I fake it till I make it kind of situation. And I work through my mornings until 10 come, and then it's Speedy Gonzalez all the way. But we have to not get weighed down by negative talk from others around us, or even self-talk. I'm not as pretty as her. I'm not as good at dressings or bandaging as her. She's good. Why don't I just emulate what she's doing?
No, but
Why don't I?
She's good at dressing, but you're good at
Something else. What else are you good at? Focus on your strengths and the weak areas. Then you address them. You take that responsibility to address your weak areas. Because as professionals, we have to learn to take an individual responsibility for our profession. It's your plant. Water it, nurture it, grow it. You can't be stagnant.
No, and that's the problem. That word is a fester. It's a infection. It's a cancer.
Yep.
When you're stagnant as nurses, it makes you susceptible to depression.
Oh my God.
And then you come across to the clients as rude, not having any feeling or empathy, and you're totally not that. But because you it's a cancer going, you don't even see that you're stagnant. There's no empowerment, no motivation there's no drive. One nurse told me when she read by the entrance to going to work, she feel like she going on the plantation.
Oh my God.
I said plantation? She said yes, because it's slave masters in there. I said what? People thinking that this is slavery still? Like really no. But it's her mental status.
Yeah.
She feels that she's not appreciated, that her work is not valued, that she's not the professional that she supposedly thinks she is because somebody else is labeling her. Nurses, no. Don't let anybody label you. You do your best, do better when you can. And always stay abreast of what's the trend,
that
what's
is
new.
important.
Create opportunities for yourself.
Empowerment is not something that people don't like to lose power. So sharing that power and empowering other people into power is going to be hard. So you have to take it on to yourself. It's your responsibility. When I left nursing school, I started working at one of the biggest government institutions in Jamaica. And I was a health information manager there before. So I knew the staff, I knew the medical staff, I knew the nursing staff. We worked together. And I've always had a passion for emergency nursing. That's my thing. But I would not, it's a specialist area. I wouldn't expect that the matron would put me there to work first. She said, no, you have to get the ropes of things, go through all the different departments. And my new colleague, she was very upset for me, which I appreciated, but I understood where the matron was coming from. And one of the things I did first was, after 6 months, I went back to the matron and I said, okay, matron, I've been through all these areas. I'm still not ready for emergency, but I want to pursue my degree in nursing now. There's an opportunity at the university. I have been accepted. And she said, no, you can't just come and go. And we had a lengthy conversation about that, about 2 weeks worth of conversation for her to be able to buy into my idea, and allowed me to work night shift only in order to study full time, with the penalty that if you're absent a night, you're losing a day's pay. Mm-hmm. But I had to take that responsibility because I didn't want to stay here in nursing. That's just not me as an individual. I'm hungry for knowledge. I'm always hungry to learn more. And even if it's not directly related to nursing practice, I now function in a management role. What did I do? I do a master's in accounting. Why? Because I have to write a budget. I've never had to write a budget before. Money and I are not friends. It comes in this hand, it goes out in this hand. But having studied accounts now, I can now teach my students as nurses how to be frugal, because we're not paid a lot.
No.
We are totally underpaid. Not because you see the nurse with her very nice car. She's not paid well, right? And we have to take up the challenge to lift yourself up. Empower yourselves as nurses. Stop sticking to registered nurse, registered midwife. There's so many more avenues available to us. And now with the internet platform, we don't have to leave St. Kitts anymore.
No.
I know some of us, we were thinking that, boy, we have to go Jamaica or Trinidad or Barbados and we're going to lose a portion of our salary. We have our mortgage, we have our kids. Sometimes you have to sacrifice it for, if you really want this.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to give up something. You can't have everything.
But I wish there were more avenues right here. I know the avenue, the online world avenue to get degrees are there now more so than ever. But in St. Kitts, that's why Care Nursing Agency, we are birthed and we are branching off into different aspects of healthcare, all the same. But we want to create opportunities for nurses because I'm a full-time nurse and I want to create that empowerment phase where, you know, as a nurse you can do so much more than just go to work for 8 hours or 10 or whatever shift you're on. That shouldn't be all you bring to the table. There are plenty clients out there that just need a word, a gentle touch, a hug, a little word of encouragement, and you can do it and do it as a service.
Yes.
You can do it for free. Either way, the doors that we go through, the plantation that we go on is not the only way, and professionalism has its place depending on where you go and channel it. So at the hospital, you know, you have to be governed by a uniform, you have to address yourself in a certain mannerism because bedside mannerism is so different to when you're in an office setting. But each step of the way, professionalism, the basic for that is basically the same. But you have to want good things for you. And you have to be confident, right?
Exactly.
That word confident is an important thing for me because if you're not going to want to do anything different.
You're going to be doubting Thomas, doubting yourself every
and nobody
step
will
of
see
the
the
way.
professional in
That's
you.
right.
Because they would see that you're lacking something. And sometimes it's just a little confidence we need. And so that's why we're here today. And we took this time out because professionalism is a part of life. And I think even if you're not a nurse, you can apply it somewhere along the line to your career path or job or whatever you're involved in, because it makes sense to be the best you are, whatever you are, whether you're a maid, a helper, whatever you are.
There are benefits to it. There are benefits to being the best at what you do. Individuals feel like, oh, it takes so much to always. We're not saying that you always have to be smiling and always have to be neat and stuff like that. No. There are other things that is entailed in with being a profession. You can, like Keisha said, express your discomfort about things. You can express your disappointments about things. But there are benefits to it. It helps you to maintain collaborative relationships, not just for nurses in our immediate nursing field, but outside our nursing field. Take, for example, Keisha here. Keisha has Care Nursing Agency, and she has to collaborate with other members of society
all kind of people.
to be able to do a lot of the community outreach that you guys do. Now, because of her accountability, her sense of honesty and confidence, her deportment, your partners have trust in you.
Yes.
They have confidence in you.
That's why they come to our doors.
They come to you. Your patients have confidence in you. So there are benefits, and collaborative relationships are really, really, really important. It impacts health efficiency. The nurse who is practicing at her best level because she recognizes that she needs to be honest in her documentation and accountable for her actions. She needs to be positive. She needs to be able to practice at a standard level. This nurse is improving healthcare. This nurse is going to be recognized, maybe not by government, maybe not by the matron, but by the patient.
Right.
This patient can send a feedback to Miss Byron, Member of Parliament, Minister of Health, to say, look, this nurse used whatever resources she had to make sure that I got the best care ever. So maybe you guys need to look at some policies to improve access, to improve availability of bed space, to improve specialty nursing care. Where's our burns unit? Where is our nurse who's trained in burns? Where is our ENT unit? Where is our ENT specialized
And
nurse?
all of that would have been just one nurse.
Just one nurse.
Making an impact.
Making an impact. You see, we are way down on the food chain when it comes to healthcare and I can say that for just about any Caribbean island. I have been exposed because of my job with GlaxoSmithKline to nursing institutions across the Caribbean. So nurses are almost always way down on the ladder. But we are the ones who are really affecting healthcare changes in individual and community lives. And if we continue on the path that we're on with our practice, that's fine. But we need to move up the ladder for a wider scale, for more protocols, more policy, more standards. Hats off to the NEOC and the awesome job they're doing in this pandemic. But I'm still waiting to hear the nursing voice. I am still waiting to hear the nursing voice.
You see that platform you said that we are on the here, right down here? If we move that platform, the whole place collapse. Nothing will happen. Everything, you think we stagnant now? We're gonna have so many deaths if the nurses take a shift and move out.
We can't afford that.
No,
we can't afford for our nurses to go.
The year of the nurse was 2020, right? And you hear anybody talking about it?
I was so lucky. I know that the pandemic took the spotlight and it really needed to.
But this is why we were called the year of the nurse, because of the pandemic.
Opportunity. This was the perfect
Nobody
opportunity
talked about that.
For our leaders.
Only Care Nursing Agency, we had a whole series on that. We invited the president of the Nursing Association, Miss Jamila, to speak in Francis, to speak about what it means to be dubbed the year of the nurse and midwife. It's an honor.
It is an honor.
It's an honor, but nobody spoke about it in the media because these issues are not addressed. Because it took COVID for some bright person, thank you, to realize that you need the nurse. And with all that is said and done, who sees the persons who have COVID? Is it not the nurse? Who treats them and helps them? Is it not us? So we are not recognized. You're rightly so, we are down here. But if we should move away, the whole building will collapse. Because then, I like how you put it, we are down here, but we are the foundation of healthcare. And I don't think we are given enough credit and motivation. And that's why the younger generation of nursing, that is nurses that are coming in, have so many challenges. Because the good nurses are leaving, they are retiring, they are dying, they are going to greener pastures, as you said. And the ones that are coming in has nothing to look forward to. Because they are not treated well. And they are trying to find themselves, because we have young people. They are coping with trying to learn who they are. Because, sometimes it takes your whole life to learn who you are. And they are young. And they're learning, and in the process of learning, they are pushed into a situation where they are fighting to stay above the water, so to speak. And this professional thing, what you're telling me about professional thing, like you say, I'm so hot where I work. Like, PS, no water, no way to drink. So they are fighting challenges that are beyond professionalism now. There's no way to go and get a meal unless you're going to go off the compound. There's nothing there to encourage you and make you feel. There's no nursing shop. I would really like to open a nursing shop where you can have nursing gear, nursing hats, nursing watches, nursing torch. We are a professional people. Nursing shoes, comfortable, not the cheap ones that mash up in 2 weeks. We want good thing, good gear, nursing pins.
And this part of it speaks to the quality of leadership and the vision of leadership. Now, when I went to the University of the West Indies to study, there was a very small section in the library for nursing books. When you went to the bookshop, there was a very small, maybe about 2 shelves for nursing books. And we had some very forward thinkers in my batch. And they went to the director of nursing about it. And she has a PhD. She is a PhD nurse. And it just took her to write one letter to whomever is it, whether it's the chancellor or whomever, one letter. And when you went back to the library a couple months later, there was a whole nursing section. You went to the bookshop, there was a whole nursing section. You can't be expecting us to be readers. You can't be expecting us to look a particular way. There are no concessions for us as professionals. Most of our things here in St. Kitts as nurses, we have to bring in from overseas.
Yeah.
My textbooks that I buy to teach my students, there are no concessions for that. I have to pay that out of pocket. Where is the concession for the nurse? Where is the concession for the nurse? What is the leaders, the Nursing Association doing about these things to pave the path for nurses to feel not only somewhat appreciated, but to show that the profession cares? It cares about its nurses. We have no nursing shops, like you say.
I can't even get a stethoscope. I have to order that.
So
and I need it now.
It should be set up that if my nurses have to order a stethoscope, or the institution provides the stethoscope that my nurses have to work with, if we can't provide it and they have to buy it, here is their ID that shows that they're a nurse. Give them the concession at custom so that they can get it. It is an equipment that you need to work. The government's work for the people.
And this is why the nurses would have deficits in, am I expected to perform at my optimal best? I don't have tools to work with. I don't have proper motivation because I feel like I'm on a plantation, it's slave, with a master, with a whip. I don't have anyone to say, hi nurse, how are you doing today? Lunch is on us. Or this is something, go and get your lunch or go and get a drink. There's no motivation, there's no encouragement. People are sad and depressed, but yet we want them to perform at their optimal best and be that front for the public, and we are suffering.
That's going to be more challenging for the nurse. If I'm in a case or a situation where I'm sad, where I'm depressed because of the work I'm doing or because of the circumstances surrounding the work that I'm doing, there must be resources in place to help me. My managers, my leaders, they should be available to not only identify these things, but there should be an environment where I feel safe to come and say, I'm not happy here because of this. And there should be opportunities to help me to navigate that. You know, you talk about grief counseling. When a nurse loses a patient that she's been caring for quite a while, sure, we are professionals and we are taught coping mechanisms in school, but we're also individuals. Some of us become attached to our patients because we've been caring for them for so long. Where is the space that I go to say, you know, I am feeling this particular way because I lost this patient?
I'm trying to remember which series brought that out, if it's diabetes with Woodley or it was depression with Dr. Crawford. Or hypertension with Dr. I don't remember which one of the doctors, but we should have somebody to talk to the nurses in the event of we have traumas, violence at work, feeling as if you're attacked. We talk about racism, but what about socialism and classism that the nurse experienced at work? We have harassment.
You have harassments. You have abuse.
Yes.
Where is the safe space? What's the resource available for the nurse to be able to decompress, to allay all her fears and anxieties without being labeled as weak or as unprofessional because you've expressed an emotion?
Right.
We are not robots.
No.
We're people. Machines can't do what we do because we talk about the heart and the art. We have a heart. We are the heart. What we bring, the touch, the smile, that's what we bring. So we need to be able to nurture that. We need to be able to replenish that as we go along daily. It takes a lot out of us to be nurses. It takes a lot to hold a patient's hand sometimes when you don't want to. So, you know, they're just, the profession is a dying profession. If you look at worldwide statistics, they'll tell you how many nurses we need now and how many we will need in 2030. And if you look at enrollment in universities in the nursing profession, it's not the best. It's not where it should be. But when you're dealing with a younger generation that will not tolerate what some of the things that exist in the profession now, what's going to happen? Are we going to be emigrating people all the time?
Well, it's already happening because we are already bringing in new people.
And what
because our people don't want to be nurses anymore.
And what does that mean for communication? What does that mean for cultural competencies?
What that means to me, in my little way, is that the people who we bring in, they're going to leave eventually.
They will.
And when they leave, what are we going to do? Hit rock bottom again and again and again and again? We need to empower our people so that the nurses want to come on board. So that they want to fix things, make it better for our communities. And those who are here now, those of us who are in the profession still, should make each other happy. That's the least we can do in the situation
we're all
that
in
we're
this
in.
Together.
Because professionalism speaks to your personal self and what your expectations of the profession is all about. And I have high expectations. Sometimes I wonder if I have too high of an expectation. But for me, it motivates me if I don't have anything to think about. I'm always on the go because my mind is always ticking. I have a lot of creative ideas coming for 2021. I have a lot of things in store. I just want good health now because I realized that I was so overworked. I needed to take a step back and look at my situation because I'm empowering people to do just like me. So that if I am not here tomorrow, it will continue.
Yes.
So if everybody does that, something good could come out of this whole situation that we are facing. Because professionalism across the board affects our daily lives. And it's so sad that, well, I'm happy the general public is getting to get an inside, in-depth look. This is professionalism, yes, how we portray ourselves, how we carry ourselves, but it's deeper than that.
Much, much deeper.
We are human beings. We cry, don't you?
Oh, I think my husband is tired.
Yeah, we cry.
See me cry.
You know, we are put together because we have to present our best selves, and we have to do that in the atmosphere or environment, depending on what's happening. Yeah. But we are human beings nonetheless, and the nurses are hurting, and the nurses want a relief. And we eat our young, so then we have the situation where we don't even help each other. But let's change that, people. Let's change that. Nurses who are listening now, let's change that. Let's let the public see us in a different light. And public, you need to realize, the general public needs to realize we are human beings and we suffer. We have ailments, we have losses, we have disasters, we have a lot of things happening with us, but we still put our best foot forward and come to care for your loved ones and yourself.
You know? If I could say two things, one to nurses and one to the general public. Nurses, you are in a profession that dates back to Genesis in the Bible. You're in what we call a noble profession. I don't particularly like that word noble because when you look at British history, nobilities, they always relied on taxes in order to live. I don't want to rely on taxes. I want good money. But you're in a very demanding profession. It takes gusto. It takes knowledge and critical thinking, and you owe it to yourself to become empowered, to choose to be empowered, to be the best you. You've got your kids looking up to you. You've got your nieces and your nephews. Think about it. If the person who's in front of me is my mom or my child, the nurse caring for them, wouldn't you want them to be able to be the best them for your relative? You know, so be what you would want others to be for you or for your relatives, the best. And general public, sometimes, love you guys, but sometimes take it easy on the nurse. Like Keisha says, we're human. We don't always get it right the first time. But you have a role to play in your healthcare too. Yes. You have a very, very strategic role. Become involved in your care. Ask questions. Seek clarification. do what you're supposed to do. That's all I want to say to the public and to the nurse.
Well, Miss Anthony, I'm so happy that you came, because topics that are chosen because it's timely, and the presenter is chosen because of the wealth of knowledge that that person would possess. And I, in my own capacity, I'm learning too. Every series I do, I get something, I take something with me from that session, and I look back when it's taped, I look back and recap and say, okay, I didn't know that. You know, because it's an ever-growing,
Yes.
ever-learning experience for somebody like me. And I am open for change. I am an advocate for change, positive change, because change could be negative. And I'm appealing to the general public, the nurses, the persons who are in authority to, we can't be a better people if we don't be a better us.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's an individual thing, just like care is personalized. If you care about you enough, you'll want to care about others. Sometimes you care about others more than even yourself. But Anthony, if you want to have anything to say for the end, you feel free at this point.
Take time to grow as individuals. Take time to grow in your profession. A lot of the nursing fraternity now is still fairly young. Set your goals. Don't put them on the back burner, because there are always avenues that you can go to achieve your goals. And Keisha is here. I'm here. I'm going to put her on the spot. Dr. Bradshaw is there. There are persons in the profession that you can turn to for mentorship, for advice. And we just want nursing to be recognized for what it is. One of the best professions in the world.
In the world. I am very honored that I am amongst the professionals. And whatever I can do to help a nurse, I'm always here. And I read a quote recently. I've read it before many times, but I recently read it over. If opportunity don't knock, you build that door.
Amen.
So sometimes a door is not there, but you create avenues, you create anything you can. Anything that is positive and would make you feel good, create that door. Bust it open if you have to. Walk around the mountain, swim across the ocean, whatever it takes to make yourself and another nurse feel good, and then eventually the clients. Because I'm about the people.
Yep.
I'm about making sure that the nurse or the nurses are happy, and then we can get clients who will be happy with our service, right?
Definitely.
So please, thank you very much. And if you can do better, do better. Thank you.
Thank you.